Going live. Three,
So, hi,
two.
welcome to the YouTube subscribers. We are here to discuss the market analysis. And with me, we have the AVP Marketing, Pareen Lathia, and I'll be your host. And yeah, so that's going to be our journey every week at the same time. So, Pareen, what do you see in the market since the last week? I mean, how do you see the markets shaping up for the crypto tokens?
So I think we saw markets being pretty much in red last week onwards. I think the entire uncertainty bout has carried on. If I look at last 1 week, essentially all I see is uncertainty in the market. Let us probably look at some important charts and see where the market is going, so we get an idea of how to at least take some basic decisions. Okay, here we are looking at daily chart. Of course, first thing is for Bitcoin, but I usually do not look at Bitcoin INR chart. It's easier because BTC global prices is what drives the entire industry. So we are seeing quite a bit of dip here. I think now anyone probably who's bought uh, by 1st of Feb is still in positive in terms of Bitcoin. So that's a great thing. We saw a dip. Uh, ATH was 64,000, and today we are almost at a 50% rate of that. Right. So the market has fallen quite a bit here, but also let us look at the longer time frame. From a longer time frame, we see since last year this is where the rally started, right? Look at
Right,
see 5th October 2020, the
right.
Bitcoin price was 10,000. So we are still 300% up from this pricing, which is something that we need to maintain in perspective. If I start looking at, let's say, an hourly chart, this will look like a crazy dump. It just looks like market is tanking all the time, which is what most newbie traders end up doing. Ideally, what we should be looking at is that long-term swing, right? So this also, when we look at all the large caps here, we'll see the uh, same pattern here, right? See, ETH rally started in December, right from 600, and today it is still at 4x of that, 400% up, right, from December till now. So this was bound to correct. Okay, it went. Let's just look at rough numbers here, from $600 to $4,000 in a matter of 6 months. Anything that goes up like this is bound to correct. So, in my opinion, this is a very, very healthy correction that we are seeing right now. Let's say if this graph went to 5,000, 6,000 more, I would be very worried about what's happening out here. It is not a sign of a healthy market uh, to do something like this, right? Now, let us also look at one popular point that I wanted to really, really talk about. Look at this chart, right? This is the December, right? I think this is the December price. This went right up to almost 100x. I think this is almost 100x from here. Now this is a worrying chart. Okay? We do not know where this is going to go. That is why most experts in the crypto industry say you if you want to play safe, you play in the large caps. You play in coins that have established some value, some proposition out there. Because look at the drop here, right? From zero point 0.7, this went to zero point 0.3. Now, this is a much bigger drop than Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the large cap coins that you will see. Why does this happen? Because of these long straight lines. Essentially, it's just been going up and up and up, right? So we have to look at the fundamentals and see, just like we do in stock market, whether this is highly overvalued, little overvalued, undervalued, or very undervalued, and that's how we make our trades.
I
Uh,
have a question to you here. I have a question to you here. which probably a lot of people are commenting here. Do you see the market to be in a bearish or a bullish phase in the short run?
So short term, we just can't predict them. When I say short term, it means months. Okay, in next 2 months, we can't predict. Today, Bitcoin is at a very critical resistance. If this resistance stays, we are going back up in 40s. If this resistance breaks, we are going back maybe even to 20s. Right. So we don't know. Short term trading is a game of skill. You have to understand the charts. You have to understand on-chain analytics. You have to understand how much Bitcoin is on exchanges. What are miners looking at, right? So all of these things are only for traders. So most people are not here to trade. They are here to invest. What it means is I look at a coin, I understand that there is fundamental value to this coin. And when I look at that, I buy it and hold it for a significant return, right? That doesn't mean that I'll hold it forever. But when we say long-term time frame, it refers usually 6 months to 1 year. So in 1 year time frame, we're still in the bull market. We are not in the bear market as of now.
Right. 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 So I'll just take the audience to the kind of news which is circulating right now. One of the news is that the Google Cloud is now providing blockchain insights for Polygon network. The last week, as it was also kind of now Mark Cuban is investing into it. Your thoughts on this? Like, how do you see Polygon network, which is better known as Matic, right? And how do you see making it big in such a crypto space right now?
So Matic Polygon, from a fundamentals perspective, is very strong. They've got their Coinbase listing, they've got their app ecosystem, which is phenomenal. If you look at it, largest of Ethereum projects are now using Polygon. Today, there was a news where 7 billion have been locked inside Polygon, which is, I think, the top three DeFi products. I think Aave and Compound are the only two projects that have about 8 billion PVN. But uh, from a markets perspective, of course, Matic or Polygon has done 100x in last 1 year in USDT. Even in BTC pair, they are very close to I think 100x from the bottom, which is phenomenal, goes well with the fundamentals. And I think they are going to do a lot more. They are releasing a lot more products. And the team has always been working hard on the product side, even in the bear market. So no doubt about the fundamental value of this project. From a trading perspective, I would look at some kind of correction at least. Wait for it, maybe to bounce a little bit from where it is, and then buy it. If not, as a trader, I'm not tied up to a particular coin. As a trader, of course, I love certain coins, and I love these teams like Matic. But at the end of the day, it's a trade. There is a risk. Uh, there are a lot of coins that have not yet had their bull run. Yeah. So I would rather take at least some profits and put it somewhere else. Profit booking is a very important thing in crypto. Usually, what people do is they just keep investing and holding it forever. That's not how it works. Market cycles demand that all coins will fall in the bear market. So even the best of coins, with the best of product, best of teams, in the bear market, there will be correction and it will be a large correction. So what I want to do is on my way up, I want to keep booking some profit. This is called laddering. So every milestone, you book a little bit of profit, right? And when you do that, you have capacity to buy more when it falls. Right? So that's my advice. Not this is not financial advice. It's not like I'm a chartered accountant or a
Yeah,
or a
we say that. I mean, I just want to mention to the subscribers that it's not a financial advice that we offer.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
as they say in the crypto space. And also, there was this one of the most spectacular things that Ray Dalio, he says that I'd rather have a Bitcoin than a bond, and he revealed that he holds cryptocurrency. Now, that's a big news.
so for people who don't know, Ray Dalio is way bigger than Warren Buffett in investing market, right? When you look at Ray Dalio, he is a legend. He wrote an article on LinkedIn last year about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in particular. This year, he's revealed that he holds Bitcoin. I think the biggest mistake of any trader or investor in a bull run that I've seen is to underestimate Bitcoin. There was a time when Bitcoin was $10,000, and a lot of my friends, family used to ask me, say, Bitcoin is too expensive now. 7 lakh rupees, 8 lakh rupees for a Bitcoin, that's too much. I would rather buy something else that's smaller. Today we saw $64,000. Every bull run, what happens is we just underestimate Bitcoin. And the reason why people end up trading in smaller coins is they think that Bitcoin has already achieved all it can. That's so not true. And if you are a new investor, it's just easier to stick with Bitcoin and hold it for 4 or 5 years, and you will see how it works. All the other coins are way more an order of magnitude more risky. So at least 10 times more risky than Bitcoin.
Right. To support your points, I must, read out these two headlines. One is that Tron founder Justin Sun, he says that he gave an interview to Bloomberg, and he says that bull markets for cryptocurrencies are expected. And this is, he said, in July and August. And the second thing, a good positive news again from the government of India, which is like there's an article in Indian Express which says that India must not miss the cryptocurrency bus. And this article has been penned down by Shashi Tharoor and Anil K. Antony. So, so you hear these positive news and suddenly you hear these negative and kind of, the bearish phase which the market goes through. So how do you see things? I mean, is it just the things which are balancing, which just happens,
So I don't like Justice and Tron is the biggest shitcoin that people usually end up investing in. Hardly any real value being created out there. That being said, as a trader, I don't differentiate. Okay, Tron makes me money, Tron makes me money. It doesn't matter. What he said is absolutely right. A lot of people looking at this 50% think that we have already entered a bearish phase, primarily because they look at it from a stock market perspective. In all of this, they are looking at it from stock market perspective. In stock market, the worst crash in Indian stock markets in last 15 years has been 60%. That was in 2008 when the whole world went crazy, right? So they do not expect this volatility. That's why there is this talk of bear market. I was really surprised when people started talking about bear market so soon, right? Because we have certain fundamentals that we've seen in crypto markets, and those haven't played out as yet. We are looking at an odd season. We are expecting a Bitcoin run again, which will be very bullish for the market. And also from a cycle perspective, we will experience a lot of such 50% dips. Like a bull run is never one straight line going like this. It's choppy, it goes like this.
Yeah.
For a period of time, it goes up, but it chops. And chops in a stock market are 6%, 10%. Chops in crypto markets are 50%, 70%. Here, the learning is if your coins went down by 70%, 80%, you're not holding good coins. If your coins went down by 25% to 50%, okay, maybe. Ethereum is one of the strongest fundamentals that we are looking at right now in terms of potential. That went down by 50% from its all-time high. So from its all-time high, 50% down doesn't mean from bottom no one has made profit. There was also a report recently that said 76% of Bitcoin holders are still in profit. Right? So what are we worrying about? This is not a bear market. What a bear market looks like. Bear market is when things will lose 90%, 95% of its value. That is when we will see the real value.
Also, we saw Ether volumes, kind of moving ahead of Bitcoin volumes, Generally, it's all Bitcoin in the crypto space, but I think probably we must talk about Ethereum, how it's kind of moving along. And I think we saw the volumes of Ether going up than Bitcoin during the last week. So, what's your take on the Ethereum part? Like, how do you see Ethereum moving along these lines?
Right. So fundamentally, Ethereum has two things that we are looking forward to. One is a proposal, if I'm not wrong, EIP 5199, forget about the number, but there is a proposal that says Ethereum is going to become a deflationary currency, right? Bitcoin, it keeps increasing in value every 4 years, primarily because it is deflationary, which means the supply keeps reducing in terms of new coins being added. So that is being replicated in Ethereum. So it's being made deflationary, right? So that's one big expectation. Second is ETH 2.0. Right? We are expecting ETH 2.0. Hopefully, it happens this year, but in the near future, they've quite been quite frank that ETH 2.0 is almost ready to go. When this happens, Ethereum is going to transition from proof of work to proof of stake, which is considered to be a much more efficient way of running a blockchain. We still have to figure out whether this will work for Ethereum or not. We haven't seen such a large scale implementation of proof of stake. So it's a question whether it can survive or not, but there are too many expectations with ETH 2.0. When ETH 2.0 comes out, that will be a big thing because hopefully the gas fees will be lower. A lot of other smaller changes will happen. And when these things happen, usually price goes up phenomenally. So we are, uh, from my personal perspective, I am expecting a mega run for Ethereum in the next 1 year.
Right, right. Just to give the updates to our audience here on YouTube, that Globant, which is a Luxembourg-based company, is another company which is now having Bitcoin on its balance sheet. They bought Bitcoin, and also we are about to see the first Bitcoin-sponsored racing car to debut at Indy 500. So I see a good mix of professional sports and the cryptocurrency now to be starting along. We also know about the token called Chili's, right? Which is again a sports fan-based token. So your thoughts on Chili's, if you want to share something about it, which is a fan-based token.
Yeah, I mean, see, Chile has been one of the most hyped projects for past year or so, and not wrongfully. They're solving a real use case, and Chili's has done phenomenally well in terms of community adoption, generally community adoption. So it's one of the projects that I'm really, really bullish on. But when it comes to charts, we also have to understand that there are coins that have already done their part, right? So let me just show this chart. Actually, it would be amazing to see. Now look at this chart. Okay, where is the bottom? The bottom is somewhere here. Feb, 21. Now from bottom 0.02, it went all the way up to 0.09,
Yeah.
right? And it has corrected itself. So uh, these are points that have already been popped, so to speak, right? So we know that one rally has happened already. Of course, I think that this will go way higher because of the odd season, but I would be very careful because it might go way lower. There might be a possibility where this resistance breaks. We see it much lower before it goes high, and we don't know how high it can go as well, right?
Right.
So I would be very whenever I look at the chart, I would want the coin to be not only fundamentally strong, but also the pump should be pending for these things. That's my way of looking at this.
Right. 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 Also, there's a positive news. I would say that probably, I mean, it's there in the article out there. That's Joe Biden's 2022 budget includes new crypto reporting proposals. So another positive news out there from the government standpoint of thing. And I think even in India, probably they're setting up a panel, and we hope much more positivity towards the crypto industry. And Yeah, so I see that. So what the question which I'm seeing in these comments is that they're keen to know more about WRX. So could you would you like to just share about it, because they're just
So,
flooded right now?
what you are looking for is inside news. That doesn't happen because even I don't know. Okay. So this is a common flaw of crypto people and investors, that just because they think someone works in a particular company, they know what's going to happen with the token, and they go ahead and ask for advice from people. That's not the right thing. I think last AMA on Friday, I told this maybe 200 times. Do not ask for advice from strangers.
Yeah,
From WRX perspective, I can talk about the fundamentals. Fundamentals is that it is a great utility token. There is an entire category called exchange tokens, led by DNB, and there are n number of exchanges that have their own tokens. The main utility is to pay fees on WazirX. So many large traders who know that they are going to do a lot of volume, they end up accumulating WRX primarily because they know that throughout the bull run they are going to spend a lot of money, and they get a 50% discount on the trading fee if they are holding WRX, paying in WRX. So that is the main thing. Fundamentals of such a coin should be tied to how the ecosystem is growing. So while I will absolutely not say anything about the chart or about pricing or anything, what I would say is look at uh, a coin, any coin. This is a very, very generic advice, and look at the use case, whether the use case in terms of uh, their entire utility is increasing in value or not. If it is increasing in value, your coin is amazing. If it is not increasing in value, you know what happens to the coin, right? Same, you can look at BNB's rally. Why is BNB become so valuable even in a bear market? Because the exchange volumes have been phenomenal for them.
and I think in the comments I can see Pratik Patel is asking us, in the crypto market cycle, are we in a denial stage? How do you answer that?
This is a very very interesting thing. Let me open up a
Yeah.
chart. Okay? Crypto trading psychology chart. So anyone who wants to find this chart, please go to Google
To
and
his I mean question, he further asked that, or we have a successfully and or we successfully entered beer cycle, or is it a micro beer cycle?
there are
That's
no micro and macro bear
yeah,
cycles. These are just jargons to confuse yourself.
yeah,
There's a bull cycle and there's a bear cycle.
yeah.
And there are corrections in a bull cycle as well, and there are rallies in a bear cycle. Okay, what Pratik is talking about is this, right? Let me open this up and show. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. This
Yep.
is the psychological market cycle. Okay, one is the price. You can track the price, but you also need to track your own emotions, right? So, Pratik, what you're talking about is the denial. Denial requires you to be in euphoria. Maybe you just joined the market here or here and you think that this is a fall, but I did not experience any euphoria this season, right? I have yet to see uh, mind-boggling numbers, right? There are times in crypto when this is this busy. In 2017 cycle, I bought my Bitcoin at $1,800, and then when it went to 5,000, I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Then went to 10,000, I said, okay, no problem, no problem. And then it went to 15,000, 19,000. It was complete sense of euphoria. It just felt like I was the king of the world. You know? If you experience these two, thrill and euphoria, and if you think that people around you have already experienced this, can you see what euphoria means? You should feel that you are a genius. You have cracked. You are God. That's the feeling when you are in euphoria. If you feel that most people have seen this already, then maybe we are in the denial phase. From my experience, I don't think we are in the denial phase. This chart actually doesn't cover all of it. Let me just open up one different chart. Yep, this is the accurate chart. Uh, okay. Now, looking at this chart, you could also say that we are here. Can you see where I'm talking about? Because there was a lot of optimism in the market right about before 18th and 19th May. There was so much optimism. But can you see this fall? How sharp it is? From a larger perspective, you can't. Maybe what you are looking at is just this, right? It's a nice fall here, right?
Yep.
So I'm not sure where we are. My personal belief is that we are here, somewhere here, and there's going to be a rally where people will just go crazy uh, about how prices go. But if we are in denial, man, that is going to be so sad for the
Yep.
entire market. Uh, but what we will also see is next cycle, right? So last cycle, I've been holding for 3 years. I can hold for 3 more years. I do not care because this is a long-term game. If you are in crypto for short term, you're going to end up making a loss unless you are a genius with charts, right? Most people end up making a loss because they do not understand short-term chops. Short-term chops are brutal in crypto market. So I would just say take your own call. But if you ask me, my opinion is we are just getting started.
Right. Okay. There's another question here. I don't know. I mean, you want to clarify this myth or fact, or you might want to not comment upon this, but I'll read out the question. It says the question is by Piyush Jajodia. He says Indian new crypto bill to 2021 is bringing all the private coins, which will be suspended, and government will bring their own coins. Is this true?
I don't know where you are getting this information from. Uh, First thing is that government has said they'll take a calibrated approach. Second problem in this statement is the definition of a private crypto coin, right? So is Bitcoin private? No, it is not,
Yep.
right? There is no company called Bitcoin. There is no CEO of Bitcoin. There is nothing called Bitcoin, right? It is not a private cryptocurrency. It's the most public thing that you can ever have, right? People like you and me control Bitcoin. Is Ethereum a private coin? Not at all. It's run by a foundation, and there is no uh, when we say private coin, essentially I don't have to take anyone's permission today to, let's say, trade on Ethereum or build an app on Ethereum. This is public blockchain. uh, we don't know what the stance is going to be when it comes to something like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So it's just easy not to speculate as of now. What we are talking about is speculation. In case you want to figure this scenario out in your trading strategy, you should consider some amount of risk of absolutely everything being banned. Right now, that risk percentage is low, but of course, there is still a risk. You should factor that, but do not get confused with this terminology. Okay? When government says we are going to ban private cryptos, we don't know what that even means. Unless the panel comes into play, there are some consultation, there's some clarity, we will not know about these things.
Right. And this is a recent news. Like there are other banks which are warning users of account suspension if they continue the trading. Now, I think probably, I mean, the bank should support the crypto industry.
Right.
So, I mean, this is off. This is like a, I mean, probably today's news, and then probably, I mean, a lot of these comments are going around here, and this comment is by Kalyan Singh.
So I think from a banking perspective, right now we have MobiKwik that is working pretty well. Peer to peer working really well as it has been for last 3 years now. That's one of the most used peer to peer engines in India, and people have traded it throughout the banking ban era. So that's robust as well. You can do all your trading there. Although we are working to find newer banking partners and solve this challenge. We do not have any control over this situation. This is a nationwide situation, and when something like this happens, we have to understand as a trader that this is a regulatory risk that we understood before getting into crypto. That's a very, very important thing to understand. Uh, Today, as I mentioned, factor in a little bit of risk so that you don't end up shocked when something like this happens, right? People were trying to buy the dip, it did not happen. But when something like this happens, you have to understand there is crypto. There is just too many variables out there. Uh, with all of these variables, you have to plan your trading strategy. And that's why in crypto people say that hodlers usually win
Yeah.
because all you are doing is buying and keeping quiet for a few years, and then you sell it for a profit. Uh, if you try and absolutely trade, if you have no experience, there are too many risks in terms of short-term jobs. So be careful of that. We will keep adding banking partners as and when possible. But from a regulatory perspective, right now, the volumes are just too much for maybe the banks to handle, or they get scared. We don't know what is the reason. Hopefully, they'll come back, and as entire industry and WazirX, we are trying to make sure positive regulations come into play.
So it would be right to say that probably for Bitcoin maximalists, like it's not been so great days for the past 2 months. But as a crypto industry as a whole, I think it's been a fine situation, I would say.
There are two kinds of people in crypto: people who understand the fundamentals and technology.
Right.
For them, this has not been a bad market at all. This is a
Yeah.
healthy correction, and it's okay. It keeps happening. Uh, Nothing goes linearly or down. Right? Even if you look at stock markets, which are relatively stable, not every company just goes up at a routine pace. Right? There are corrections in place. Uh, from the market's perspective, people who are second kind of people are in it for short-term money, right? Short-term money, the problem is the market is nascent. That's why we see so much volatility. And when you see so much volatility, of course, you have so much chance of making money, but you also have that much possibility of losing money, right? That's why we keep saying every time that this is a risky investment. Be safe when you trade in crypto. Invest only what you can afford to lose. The reason why people keep saying this is that when the chops go down, you can lose all your portfolio. So from a short-term trading perspective, yes, people who think like that think that the market has tanked, we are in a bearish cycle, or this is all big speculation that we are looking at here. I would say convert yourself into a person who is knowledgeable, right? Go and read about fundamentals of Bitcoin, of Ethereum. Talk to people who are knowledgeable. Listen to podcasts and see more in technology, right? If you listen to stock market legends like Warren Buffett, or even let's say our Indian Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and people, they are all value investors. They are all fundamentals people, right? What they say is, I do not care once I invest in a company whether markets open tomorrow or do not open tomorrow. I am holding this stock for years. When I'm holding this for years, I have my conviction that this project is going to do well. Apply the same to crypto. Study your projects, whether it is Bitcoin or Ethereum or Polygon or even Tron or even Doge for that matter, right? So you know what risks are and what are the fundamentals, which one is strong, which one is not strong. When you see this, you automatically become the first kind of investor who is in it for the technology. When you are in it for the technology, long term, you will always end up making money. That's the idea of crypto.
Well, right. I guess I would like to sum this up. And we've taken a few questions. Is there anything else, Pareen, that you want to inform our audience and subscribers?
So this is one of the first of market Mondays that we are doing. How
Yeah.
are we calling it? Monday Market Mania. or how was it? Monday
It
market.
was Monday market news analysis. So yeah,
So this is the first one. Please tell us what you want us to cover,
yeah,
what you like, what you dislike. Subscribe to WazirX's YouTube channel because we are going to produce so much more valuable, knowledgeable content. And share it on your Twitter because people don't know that we create these amazing videos on WazirX YouTube channel now. When you follow us, make sure hit the bell icon so that you get notifications. And I think Archit, who is managing our YouTube channel now, he's going to make sure that you get so much value out there. And that's how you trade. Right? You become an educated investor, not an investor who's listening to random strangers on the internet or who's not informed. So that's all I have to say.
right.
Next week we will see you again.
Yeah. And I would just tell it to our subscribers, WazirX subscribers, that if there's any feedback you want to give us to improve this show, I think we are more than welcome to do that. And also, just remember, whatever we discussed, it was not a financial advice. I would just put it again. Yeah.
Do your
So,
research. Don't listen to strangers on the internet, and that includes me. Don't listen to people like us. What I talk about is from my personal experience. You will have your own risk appetite. You will have your own portfolio value. You will have your own plans, right? I may think of 10 years. You may think of 5 years. You may think of 5 months or so. So take this information, do the research, study the charts, and keep learning the fundamentals. That's the holy grail of making money in the long run. To learn about the fundamentals, right? Next time, if that suits, possibilities pops in my mind. That's it. Right now,
yeah,
to the audience that's listening, we would love it if you analyze Polygon. We talked about Polygon a lot today.
yeah,
Analyze the fundamentals. What is the product that they are building? What is the what does it mean when I say 7 billion has been locked inside Polygon, right? So take these small things and research. You will find all of this information on Polygon's community, on even on their website, right? Research one project maybe every week. So this week's probably homework should be to research Polygon, right? What do you think, Archit? Every
well,
Monday,
for sure. I would say probably just go on and research about Matic. And next Monday, we'll again come back and give them the whole market news and analysis and some interesting news. And also, probably we can discuss the Web3 technologies.
yes, definitely. And if you have a recommendation of points that you would like us to analyze, tell us
Sure.
and put it in the comment section here. Tell your friends to like the comments so that we know this is the coin that has popular demand. If your coin has popular demand, next week we would be very happy to analyze your coin. So comments are very important for
Yeah.
us to
And
understand.
also, sorry to interrupt you, Pareen. Also, since the comments they're asking us to do it in Hindi, so for the next Monday we are going to go do this live in Hindi.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, to make everybody comfortable here, right?
Definitely. Next Monday.
Right. Till then probably I think we would like to close it. Thank you, Pareen. Thank you for guiding your subscribers with your knowledge, and I would like to close it.
Thank you, Archit.
Thank you.